Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready?
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Fox fans. How are we? I didn't say good evening because it was not a good evening. It was a shit evening. Welcome along. It's Leicester Till I Die TV. It's the post-match reaction, and I think we're going to get a bit of a reaction tonight. We are live on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, Twitter at Leicester TID, and YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. And please, if you aren't or you haven't yet subscribed, please nip over to YouTube. We're less than 50 away from the 1,000, and that really does help us support the channel and keeps us running, which is something I don't think the players were doing tonight. They certainly weren't running. West Ham United 4, Leicester City 1. I want you to come on, please, and tell me what have I just witnessed. Because I'll tell you something here. I have a bit of a joke, and when we play well, I'll come on and go, do you know what? It's like watching Brazil. It was like watching Arsenal tonight. I mean, no disrespect to Arsenal. Well, yeah, probably, but that's how bad it was. It was awful. I mean, match reviewer, good evening. He says here, not a good game, Chris, but you have Norwich next. Head up and go back to them. I tell you what, match reviewer, we couldn't bat a fish after that performance. It was fucking awful. Fucking awful, I'll tell you. Rob Tanner, who we had on the channel recently, and he's the Leicester City correspondent for The Athletic, which is the big football online magazine. And he said actually, when was the last time you saw Leicester City so bedraggled and disorganised like this? Fulham last year, West Ham twice last year, Newcastle at the end last. Yeah, we see it a lot, and that's what don't get me. We do play like Arsenal 1 week bad at that, then we'll go out and play like Brazil. Just me, are you confident of beating Norwich? Because I'm not. I've got to be honest with you. I really, really am not. It is the post-match review. It is me and Brad. It is not a good evening.
The Premier League is back, and we've got it all covered here on Leicester Till I Die TV. Subscribe.
Do you know, I actually was on a couple of West Ham channels over the weekend, and I've got a couple of them coming up tomorrow. That's going to be a laugh a minute, isn't it? And I said to the West Ham fans, you know, last season, I think you were punching above your weight. And this season, you might actually settle back to how you were. Maybe I was actually talking about us. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Just before we're joined by Brad, we'll have a look at a couple of posts here. James, Everton fan, evening, Chris. Wasn't a very good from your lads tonight. Big up. I tell you what, that's being nice. Wasn't very good. Yeah, well, I think I could probably say a lot worse. Is it past? Yeah, it's 10:30. We were fucking shit, I tell you. David, good evening. Hello, hope you're well. How do you explain that travesty? I don't know. I need somebody to explain it to me. What a poor 90 minutes exhibition of tactics and game management. Lots wrong and nothing right. Match reviewer Tycho. Yeah, sorry, mate. Of course it is. I do apologise. Thanks for just giving me a kick up the backside and reminding me. If you're available, if you could go and give our players a kick up the backside, because I tell you what, they played tonight like one-legged men at an arse-kicking competition. That's how fucking awful they were. Fearless, so they say, but scared of West Ham. You know, I'm not going to get. I'm annoyed. You can probably tell I'm annoyed. The problem was that this is Leicester, and we know we're not going to be that bad all season. The little worry for me is we only just scraped past Wolves, so that wasn't a convincing win. And let's live honest, we got played off the park today. Terry, well, that confirmed I'm totally hopeless at predicting. You and me both, mate. I went 3-1 to Leicester, so that's how bad it was. Hey, if you think I'm annoyed, I have a feeling that Jesus may be burning his cross tonight. Let's find out and say good evening to Brad. Thanks for waiting, Brad. Oh, you got the Jesus light shining down on you there. We could have done with those down at the London Stadium tonight.
I'm glad I'm in my bed.
I didn't know when your sound had gone there. You were about to sling your wrist, or you were thinking.
You know when you've just had one of them days and you have a moment through that day that goes, well, that just sums up my day. Well, thanks, Leicester. Thanks for summing up my day so nicely and perfectly. And I'm going to get this out the way before it becomes a talking point. I don't trust Kaglas Soyuncu as a leader anymore. I really don't. We've defended him enough, right? But Brendan Rodgers, get him on a leadership course and go back to teaching defenders. If you can't pass it, oof it. Because that ain't the first time Kaglas Soyuncu's been on it. And now, to give a comparison, anybody that's watched the show before knows that I'm not the biggest fan of Perez. I don't think he's up to the caliber, and I don't think he's up to the quality that's required at Leicester to constantly try and challenge or break into the top four. Want him to prove me wrong, always keeps proving me right. Really wish he didn't. But Kaglas Soyuncu's been getting away with it because he's very nice and Leicester fans like him, and I'm a big admirer.
And he's got a big dick, don't forget.
Well, yeah, but that's just jealousy in the changing rooms and my ego a little bit. But another thing is as well, we've got to make sure we're even with our discontent at players, and I'm going to be there with Kaglas Soyuncu tonight. I'm a big fan of Kags, but he clearly cannot work without a leader behind him. I think that Leicester should do a train announcement. You know, when they say, due to unforeseen circumstances, all trains running in this direction to wherever are postponed. Well, due to the fact that Leicester don't actually have a competent centre-back available, Leicester are going to do the honourable thing and, for the foreseeable future, just forfeit games and wait for the likes of Vestergaard and Evans to be back. Because they need to send...
Like British Rail used to say, like British Rail used to say, we have to make an announcement. The train is cancelled because there are wrong leaves on the track. Do we say, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's game is cancelled because the wrong centre backs are available?
Yeah, very much, mate. Unfortunately, it was. Neither of them coated themselves in glory. But you know what? I want to, in a weird sort of way, maybe I'm just stretching to try and find the positives. Before it capitulated in front of our eyes after the first half hour, 35 minutes or so, we actually weren't that bad. It was actually looking like a game that I thought, this could be a good high scoring game. I was right, just not in the way I thought.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, for the first half an hour, I think we had over 70% possession, but there's no point. We know from 15, 16. There's no point having all that possession when you do fuck all with it. And Leicester were doing fuck all with it. Vardy, I think, had 3 touches in the first half. Well, I'm sorry, look, drop Vardy, get Inacho. I mean, Vardy's going to be around no matter how bad he plays. And I'm not saying he was awful, but we weren't getting the ball to him. Get him off, get Daka on or get Inacho on and change it around a little bit. But we all know, it's Jamie Vardy. We can't take Jamie Vardy off, blah, blah, blah. He had 3 touches in the first half. I thought he brought his sandwiches and a fucking deck chair on the pitch to sit up and have his sandwiches because he was doing fuck all. But then there wasn't one player out there from Leicester City that I think did well. It is one of those performances that we know Leicester are capable of. Now, we normally say that, don't we, if it's a good performance. But no, it's a bad performance, and we know we're capable of doing that. Yeah,
you know what, Chris? You summed it up perfectly, and a point I'd like to kind of lead on from. You know, when Tanner asked the question, when was the last time you remember Leicester in that performance? Well, it was both West Ham games last season. It was Leeds as well in a game which was the leading game.
I did actually say there's probably a couple of others I can't think of.
It was Arsenal again after we took the lead against them. It was Fulham at home again with Newcastle. You're right, and Aston Villa. And you know what? Each game you could probably play side by side. And if you just watch the Arsenals, the Newcastles, and all the teams that did this against us, you will see they played the exact same way. Leicester played away to try and feel themselves into a game. They were away from home. In fact, Leicester, in a weird sort of way, probably set up like any team would away from home, especially when it's away to West Ham. They're quite notorious for making a bit of a dooming atmosphere with the crowds in. So I'm not going to discredit Brendan in the first half. What I am going to say is, if you watch all the games where Leicester got tore apart last season, it was the same. They waited for a team to come at them and race at them so they could play the ball through quickly to Vardy and Maddison and Tielemans. And West Ham went, nah, we know how you do that, so we're not going to allow you to do that. And what disappointed me is how long it took. And I know the red card, which we'll obviously talk about, completely probably halted that. Maybe with 11 men at half-time, we come in 1-0 down, Vardy might have came off. I think maybe even until he scored, Tielemans probably would have come off because he looks a shadow of himself. That's another player we'll talk about. You might have seen a system change. Unfortunately, the red card really shafted us. And I'm not going to get too much on Iose Perez back for it. I'm not one of them that thinks he did it deliberately. It was clumsy. It was reckless. Could have broke his leg or his ankle at the end of the day. So it was the deserved red. I know we're going to probably talk about that bit.
Nandez said there, if we want Champions League, Chris, we can't concede 4. Excellent performance from West Ham. But even without the red, we started 4. For me, Samori would have done well here. David says we did nothing with it. We didn't. That's what I said. You know, we had 70% possession, but we did do nothing with it. And you could see at half time, well, I could see, you could see, probably everybody else watching the fucking game could see, except Brendan Rodgers, we needed to make changes. Now, you don't go... To me, he did what Hussenthal did when we beat them 9-0. They went to play it down, came to half-time, no changes. You're down to 10 men, change your fucking formation. You don't keep it the same. And after 45 minutes, you could tell Tielemans was having a bad game. Vardy, like I say, hadn't. You needed to put a bell in the ball so he could hear it. And then you had Ndidi, who had one of the worst games he's had. Now, what I'm saying is these aren't suddenly bad players, don't get me wrong, but everybody was having a bad game, so that was when he needed to make the changes, not 82 fucking minutes.
See, the problem is you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If he hadn't made them, if he'd have made them changes at half time, and then Leicester went 2 and 3-0 down in the space of 10 minutes, we'd have been screwing at him for say he disrupted it. They needed to settle. They needed to ride the first 10-minute waves. You needed that experienced player out. At the end of the day, he made them changes. He made the first change when he put Daka on. I don't know if he got a touch on it, and I don't know if he'd be able to claim it anyway. He might have technically got an assist. I don't know if that's Maddison's assist or not. But out of absolutely nowhere, let's face it, the only thing I remember seeing Fabianski happen to do was pick the ball out of his net We went that attacking change and got ourselves back in the game. Had it happened earlier, it might have gone the way you said, Chris, but it also might have gone the way the game ended up playing out. And I agree with the comment before. I don't think the red card would have changed the outcome of the result, and it might just have changed.
It might not have been as embarrassing. I think we probably still would have lost, because up until that point, we were still fucking awful as well. I'm going to bring this on now, because I don't usually bring the player scores on until at the end, but I actually tried to guess what Alan was going to, who was going to pick as man of his match and what his scores were. And I actually said, I'm guessing here that you're going for Schmeichel as man of the match, because he did make it. Without him, it could have been a lot worse. We could have been looking at a 9-0, let's be honest with you. And I went 4 for both, and I wasn't actually far wrong, because I think he's been generous for Brendan there tonight with 4 and 3. And Schmeichel, there was nobody else deserved it. Harsh or fair, Brad? I think it's fair.
I think it's always going to be a low score for the manager when the team loses badly. I don't think I'm kind of on the side of against. I think a team needs to be given a rollicking when they go down to 10 men, they perform bad in the first half, and go, right, you go and show them fans that you're still in the fight for this. And then when the game's edged in, if they'd have kept that 1-0 and Tillmans had scored and made it 1-1, you know what I mean? I know football was not made of ifs, ands, and buts, but you could see why he maybe wanted to absorb it, take the sting out of West Ham for a bit, get them settled and do it. It could have worked. It was brave. But Rodgers was always only going to get a 4, and the team, I think, a 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the suicidal passing.
You're quite right, Brad, in the fact that had we, with 10 men, got a 1-1 draw out of it, would have been coming on, and you'd probably been looking at at least there's probably a 6 or 7 for each of them, you know. But that's it. You are judged by the game. It's a game of football, and that's how you are judged. And you are judged on your last result.
And like you said, one game doesn't make them all of a sudden a total disaster of 11, and we've got the worst manager going. Because if he was the worst manager going, his odds would get even higher for him to go to Arsenal. Sorry, stop bullying Arsenal, Brad. Stop it. It's not funny. It's borderline abuse, bullying Arsenal. We need to stop. See, I'm cheering myself up, Chris. I'm cheering myself up because no one else.
My worry is, though, the fact that had Wolves had the shooting boots on, we'd have been looking at no points. We were holding, and I know, like you said earlier, it's all ifs, buts, and what have you. But taking the performances, it wasn't a brilliant performance against Wolves, and we got away with it. And it's just that Michael says here, we never got off the starting blocks. We didn't. We certainly didn't. James, Everton van, neutral view here. West Ham were more fast and aggressive going forward. You guys all that possession, but West Ham were organised apart from the goal you scored. Yes, the red card made some impact. A red card will make an impact, obviously. But sometimes when you go down to 10 men, excuse me, we say it all the time, don't we? Down to 10 men, and you get something out of the game because everybody else kind of goes, right, fuck, we're gonna fight this. I've seen they couldn't have fought the way out of a bloody paper bag tonight.
No, they couldn't. But you're very right. Sometimes we've got results from being down to 10 men ourselves. The last time I think I remember was actually ironically against West Ham, where Vardy got sent off for simulation, and then we went down the other end after West Ham made it 2-1. You know, and Jeffrey Schlupp won that penalty. So it can happen. You can have them games, and maybe on another night we would have got an equaliser from that. But again, it begs the question that really needs to be worked on. Is this isn't this? Like I said, you could play all the games we've lost like this side by side, and you would see the same structure. They pressed as well when they needed to, and they sat back and went, "You want to pass it around your back four? Go for it. We'll wait. We'll wait because you'll mess." And lo and behold, we did mess it up, right? And we'll take advantage of it. And they did. And they did it. They did it twice in a very quick manner by doing so from one mistake. And that was the biggest definition. Everything Leicester had to offer, West Ham beat it. Defending skills, thrashed it. midfield battles tussled harder, attacking sense did better. Eye for goal definitely better, more threatening. Everything was better than us, and it really did disappoint me, the capitulation at the end, because up until a point, I was actually starting to think this isn't actually as bad a performance as it could be, being just we're down to 10 men and only 2-0 down. I was still
at
thinking
2-1. I thought, oh,
yeah, the 17 would do it 10
because
men.
West Ham do have a habit of giving up. But I said Antonio could star in WWE, couldn't he? I mean, he absolutely just pushed Ndidi out of the way like he was a bloody fly, and he was going past.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. You can sometimes accept maybe if 1 or 2 players play badly, but when 10 players, and it was 10 players play badly,
well, 11.
You were
11 just
I don't know, Schmeichel. Well, yeah, the subs, but Schmeichel, I thought, let's be honest, he did keep us in it. I just want to play. I did this earlier on today, but I didn't think I would actually be using it quite as quickly as I am. This is for you.
Life without you was like a broken pencil.
Explain.
Pointless.
Pointless. That sums Perez up, doesn't it?
If this doesn't stop Iosi Perez turning out in a Leicester shirt, then I give up. I give up. I'm sorry, but I've sat here many weeks, and justifiably so, may I say, I've sat here many weeks with Chris, and I've said I don't rate him. I don't think he's at the caliber for this club in the direction it's trying to go and wanting to go in to play in our squad. There's a reason we keep looking around for this 25-30 million winger that we keep getting rumoured with from Italy or some others that I've heard floating around. There's talks today that a deal's close between us and Bruges for one of our youngsters to depart. Some fans are hinting that that's getting extra money in the kitty to be able to table a bid that they will accept. We'll see. There's still a while to go, but that has to be it. That has to be the line with Brendan, because this is it now. I keep asking him, please prove me wrong so I can sing his praises. And it was stupid. It was unintentional, but it was stupid and it was needless. And I've lost the will with him now. So almost to the point, mate, where I think if he came on in the game, I'd go and get a bet, and I'd put a bet on either him getting sent off or us losing, because that's the effect he has. Some way or another, Perez is involved in the game. We don't play well and we lose.
I'm trying to think, and please somebody come on and tell me a good point about Perez.
He's banned for 3 games. Got it. Solved it in one.
Every cloud, as they say. Simon at Premier Hotspur. Yeah, mate. Okay, you're in you're fifth, so you can bring your "We've Done Well This Season" DVD out. He's got a good haircut. Now he's got hair. I mean, with myself, I'd take that. JJ, worst Leicester player I've ever seen. Ooh, ouch.
We'll have to redo that video then, because he'd get in there.
Yeah, evening both. Extremely poor performance tonight. That's putting it lightly. Lee, Brendan sees something in Perez, obviously, but you can't blame him for tonight. No, well, he was as bad as everybody else on the pitch, but at the end of the day, there was other players that managed to last the amount of time they were on the pitch. He got sent off, so therefore he is going to get more blame than everybody else. So let's just have a look at this.
The thing is with fans as well, he's one of them that he's already running on a short fuse with fans as well. So he's not helped himself with these bad performances, and then he's had a okay-ish first half with the rest of the squad, and then he goes and does that. That like them characters in a TV show that you just like, for God's sake, just stop messing things up for your team. He's one of them. He feels like one of them characters that just does your head in because he's going to screw it up. He's just one of them where Leicester fans is patient with going.
James, I don't think he's even good enough for Arsenal at the moment. I'm not going to lie to you, but let's just have a look at this, shall we? Because I can't believe that there was some. And I know football's all about opinions, and this is only my opinion, but for me, I can't believe that there was some fans out there saying it wasn't a red.
On what planet?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'll have to come to you in a second, Brad, and see whether you agree with me or not. For me, when we played Southampton and a certain player got sent off there in the 9-0, that was no worse than this was. And I always say, and I was talking to Alan, and I was at the match. And to be honest with you, we've got to be thankful, mate. He travelled to London, was sat behind the goal through that performance, behind the goal. So maybe we should have had him in goal. Maybe we would have done better. But that to me was, like I say, as bad as the Bertrand foul on Perez as it happened in the Southampton game. And I always look at the sending off and go, if that was the other way round, would I be screaming for their player to be sent off? And with that, yes, I would. And when you look at this, if I can just get this to come up here, I mean, look, that he was looking at that player coming towards him. You know, and we've got the advantage if we were watching it. Well, we were watching it on telly or however you people were watching it. But at home, you know, the pundits called it, and the guy, the second, the defender, West Ham player behind him, was the first sort of challenge. He went past him, but as he went past him, he looked up, he saw him coming, and he didn't go and poke the ball at all, because if he'd gone to poke the ball, as some people were saying, his foot wouldn't have been high enough to come down on the player. For me, it was a straight red card. He had to go. He deserved to go. And great, 3 games without him.
I think the commentators got it spot on. It was clumsy. It was purely accidental. No malice meant in it at all. Yes, it looks worse, like any foul does, or any incident looks worse when it's slowed down. But in the eyes of the law, it was serious foul play, because whether he meant it or not, because he clearly didn't. You know, we're not arguing a toss over whether he meant it or not.
I don't think he went out to do it. No, but
no, of course he didn't. He wasn't. You can tell he wasn't. Yes, he did go for the ball. Yes, he goofed it. Yes, he did. But it was serious foul play, because at the end of the day, we know how that feels when someone deliberately goes in hard on someone. Villarreal. When they deliberately go out and try and hurt people by the thuggishness. Perez ain't like that. He's never got a red card in the Premiership in his career, I don't think, or at least in the top flight, they said.
No, this was his first ever red card in the Premier League.
Yeah, and he was clearly upset by it. And I'm not holding any blame for him to do it. But at the end of the day, he could have broke his ankle. And that's where the serious play comes in. And he was right. If that had been a tackle on Vardy, Maddison, whoever, as soon as it happened, mate, I was watching it with headphones and I went, well, that's him off. He's off. He's got to go. I can't defend it. He's got to go. Normally, I try and defend the player as you do, mate. But no, he was right to get sent off, because anyone else would have been screaming blue murder if they hadn't got sent off.
Somebody did tweet me and say it was a toe poke, and I think because I disagreed with them, I think they unfollowed me, which is not exactly a huge.
If you're going to take someone's opinion that badly, then I wouldn't want them following me on, mate.
But no, unfortunately, like you say, that's how I judge it. Like I say, would it the other way around? Would I be screaming for their player to be sent off? Simon says here, even before the sending off, you guys were off your game tonight. That's not Leicester from last season. Well, yes, it was, mate. This is the thing. There were certain games, and this is why we probably finished 5th. And I know it's easy for, you know, if every team played to the best every week, the teams don't. That's football. But as Leicester fans, we are used to the fact that we know there's going to be performances like this pop up every now and again. And like I say, had we played Wolves off the pitch, I wouldn't be as concerned. And yeah, we've got Norwich up next. And I mean, Norwich are sort of sat down there, right at the bottom. But I'm not convinced that Norwich won't beat us if we perform like that.
Oh, yeah, if we perform like that. But as we say, if this is the Leicester of last season, then I'm pretty certain that we'll bounce back in style. I mean, it it was, I don't want to sit here. I know we're having talking points, and obviously Soyuncu will be a talking point in a minute or two. But it wasn't just individual. Like you said, this was one of them where the whole entirety of the team, to a point, let us down tonight. Until Maddison assisted the goal, didn't know he was on the pitch. Tielemans, you remember in the Euros when they got knocked out against Italy, and he was just slumping shoulders and he was swaying his arms around. He looked like that Tielemans which we've seen flashes of before, and unfortunately it wasn't the consistent brilliant Tielemans. It was he looked ran down, he looked defeated, he looked out of breath. I noticed it in pre-season and didn't really say much about it because I didn't read too much into it, like we try not to. But since the start of pre-season up until now, our midfield looks knackered, mate, and that's worrying. That's really worrying considering 3/4 of the midfield didn't go on international break.
Yeah,
it was really worrying how knackered and lethargic they looked. I knew we'd play slow, but tonight Maddison was poor, Tielemans was poor, and Didi wasn't brilliant. We'll get on to Soyuncu and Amati. Ricardo was awful. Thomas wasn't really in the game, but he got done alive. Harvey Barnes didn't really do much. So it was all collectively, and that's the most worrying thing. I said earlier about Soyuncu should never be in a centre-back pairing if he's not got a leader for it. Well, the leadership was lost tonight. There was no one there kind of giving it what the fuck are you playing at? Come on, we're still in the game. Even when we scored, mate, did you realistically think after the first couple of minutes of the restart, well, yeah, we're playing like a team that could actually nick a point here? Because it seemed like we scored in normal order.
Not in reality, no. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, we're no worse off points-wise than Man City.
Yeah, we're going to win the league.
You know, they lost one.
And we're only 1 point behind Man United.
That said, we're no worse off points-wise than Watford, and they were everybody's favourite to go down. So you read into these things what you will. It is early days, but I tell you what we're going to do, because I know you said there's a couple of players. I mean, I've got to just actually we will have a look at all the players in a second, because what we'll do is that we'll actually go through and we'll rate the players and we'll see what the watchers say as well. Don't normally do this, but as a bit of something a little bit different here. But somebody posted earlier on social media in the Facebook group, what are Leicester City doing on the training ground that all our defenders are getting injured? Now, they're not all getting injured on the training ground, but funny how Vestergaard's not been with us full 2 weeks yet, and he's injured.
Yeah. But Bertrand, we know, is an illness, and Vestergaard wasn't, as we found out, hadn't done any pre-season. He was very rushed to get through because of the injury to Fofana, and we see why we wanted Vestergaard fit and ready for the start of the season after tonight's shambolic performance. It's easy, especially when you get such a devastating result like this, to go, oh, injuries, what they're doing on the training ground. But we can't turn into one of them clubs, because last season it was, when it was all going peachy for us, it was, look at us with our injuries. Now it's, oh, what they're doing on the training ground. No. This team's been training and developing well enough. It's just sod's law. It happens. And at the end of the day, he's obviously found himself, by the sounds of Brendan Rodgers' comments, Vestergaard wasn't able through the week to shake a niggle and get himself up to fitness. He had no choice to play Amati. So, like I said, it's easy when you lose 4-1, isn't it, to say what's going on the training ground. What I would say, I think some individuals need some very intense individual training on certain aspects of their game, i.e. Soyuncu and hoof the fucking thing. Because that wasn't just a bad pass. How can you go from your goalkeepers to your right of you and Antonio's to your left of you and play such an inch perfect pass to Antonio? Does he genuinely? Does he have like a blurred vision when he's in a panicky situation? Because I can't understand how he's made such a perfect pass to someone wearing claret over a keeper wearing black. I can't.
No, it is, and you know the. I'm just trying to think of something positive, and I can't. But you know the commentators. Sorry,
it's finished.
It's over. 4 minutes of injury time, and I'll just blow your whistle. Like we're like an injured animal. Just put us out of our misery, please. the subs came on too late for me.
Especially the last two changes.
Yes. I mean, 82 minutes when you are, were we 3-1 down then? Or
They just scored as they were warming up.
Yes, yes.
I would have liked to have seen them. I would have
How
liked to have seen them the second we scored. The second Tillemans knocked it in the back of the net, I would have gone, right, get on.
Yes.
I would have said, do a quick run up, stretch yourselves out, work yourselves out on the pitch if you have to, but get on that pitch. We're going for it. Because then, you're very right, the last two subs unfortunately did come too late.
It doesn't seem like sometimes...
He's forgotten to play football, Ankin, not let alone defending.
I'm not going to actually... Like I say, I'm finding... I don't want to criticise Brendan because it is, at the end of the day, you know, we've lost one game, and that's what it is. But sometimes I look at Brendan, I think, grow a pair, because he seems to and ah about making these changes. And like you say now, those changes should have been made on 65, 70 minutes, not on 82. What the fuck's going to happen? How many goals are we going to get in the last 6 minutes?
Yeah, but again, it's one of them. Let's just take the incident as it was. We just got level. West Ham were going to come at us. And you know what I say? Don't make a substitution when you're trying to defend. And West Ham did come at us, got a few set pieces. And it was in a game sometimes as well. This is why I think Brendan's kind of unlucky that he's not going to get quite a good result in his ratings by other Leicester pages and whatnot, and ourselves tonight, is because had that ball gone out of play and had West Ham not scored that third, he would have then put on two fresh legs to run at a West Ham defence that's trying to kill off the game. It's just, by the time, like you said, he was probably 5-10 minutes short. Like, I'm in agreement with you. I think he should have instantly done it at the point we got in the game. But sometimes these tactical decisions, we could have been talking about a 2-2 draw. You know, imagine they miss it and we go down the other end and Daka or Iniacho grabs us an 88th minute equaliser. It's a whole different story. Unfortunately for Brendan and Leicester tonight, it was a disaster, and anything that did go, went wrong. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Even
we've had those games before, haven't we? I think we had one against Derby where we got an injury, it's ending off. Oh, we had like 3 injuries all in one game.
Reminded me of Ipswich.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky because we're looking at this in hindsight, and you know, we're not looking at this he gets paid very handsomely, we know, for doing his job, but we sit here very nicely going like, yeah, you know, this happened. But hindsight is a wonderful thing. And I know Simon's saying here, do you guys think you have enough firepower for the season? Yes, I think we do. Because we have to remember, as peed off as we are, this is one game. And I think what this is, and I've got to sort of slap myself sometimes because I have a go at other fans for saying, like, come on, we are still only Leicester City. And we get the fact of what right are we? And I'd have a go at Arsenal fans sometimes for doing this, which is why I'm a lot more subdued about this than I would be about normally. Because A, it's only 2 games in. B, Man City are no better off than us, only on goal difference. And B, we are Leicester City. And at the end of the day, we haven't got a God-given right to win every game just because we turn up. So, yes, I think we have. And like I say, it's very, very easy. You know, we didn't criticise Brendan when we beat Man City 5-2. It was. We
didn't criticise him when we won the FA Cup.
No, indeed we didn't. Although, no, not at all. Or indeed, what I like to call the English Super Cup. But, but yeah, I just think, like I say, I accept losing. What hurts me is losing in that manner.
Yeah, I was just about to say, losing in the same way that we lost last season is something that I would question. To, instead of saying these injuries, that's the thing I'd like to hear Brendan answer. What are you doing on the training ground to stop these performances happening when teams set up and soak it up?
Yeah.
This is probably the indication. I'm going to say this now. Norwich, it's going to be a combination of Vardy, Iheanacho, or Iheanacho and Daka, or Daka and Vardy. He will not go with one up front. I think you might start to see more of a dominant switch to two up front, because West Ham went. I almost feel like, going stretching back to the point of how Leicester lost this game, I almost feel like David Moyes went, fuck it, should we just play against them like we did last season? Because last season they didn't have any idea. If they're going to still play with one up front, should we just match them and play like that? Hey, 4-1.
I actually brought that point up in a recent show. I think it was one of the West Ham shows. We played so well last season with Iheanacho and Vardy together.
Mm.
But he's literally gone, oh yeah, we won all those games and Iheanacho was on fire. Hang on, I'll bin that.
Yeah. And I do feel sorry for Iheanacho, to be fair, because he's probably gone, Bob was the top goal scorer last season. What more do I need to do to get myself on that team with Vardy?
I'm like, what the fuck, Brendan? Do you know what I mean? We did well with this, and then you've gone back to this. But then, he'll probably get us to finish fifth again, and we'll all be happy. Simon,
we won't be caring about this.
Simon, you have got 6 points, mate, but you're still below Brighton and Hove Albion. So don't get too excited just yet. I know you're dying to bring out your season highlights video now. Because it would be sort of probably the longest one that you've ever had. Simon's a great lad.
Tottenham's next DVD, we were joint top through August.
How long were you top for last season, Simon? Oh, yes, it was about 3 hours, wasn't it? But hey, actually, Simon's a great lad. Get over to his the Premier Hotspur TV channel and sub to that. It's a really, really, really good channel. He's a good laugh, and he does take the banter. Right, so let's just have a look at some more comments, and then we've not done this before, but we'll have a look at the player ratings. Antonio, he says they haven't already lost. Antonio's goals were awesome, and the celebrations were a joy. And I've got to say, I did say West Ham peak last season and they go back to the normal self, as I said at the start. But my God, maybe David Moyes is the English Pep Guardiola.
Do you know what I did find shocking? I think tonight he scored his 50th and 51st goal for West Ham. He broke a record for their top goal scorer in the Premier League, which was set by Paolo Di Canio. That baffled me. I'm not, maybe I'm forgetting that West Ham were a bit, after the Di Canios and the Jermaine Defoes and Freddie Canute days, they went a bit dull as dishwater, getting beat more. And I know they've spent a fair few years out of the division, but it's a bit culture shock to know that they had a record for that long where no one had managed 50 goals. It just seems a bit out there. If he's worth 51 goals, can we pay 51 million for him? Stick him on the right.
Well, we need something, don't we?
Chris,
right. On this, what we're going to do, I'm going to hide the top bits off here because I don't think we're going to get anybody in the 10-9s or even 8s, to be honest with you. So I can go a little bit larger on that. So this way I can see who I am clicking on. Thankfully, Vestergaard didn't play today because I forgot to add him into this. But let's start with Mr. Schmeichel, who I think we probably were agreeing was man of the match.
I'm actually going to give him a 7. He made a phenomenal amount of brilliant saves. Stopped it being 7 or 8. I don't even fault him for West Ham's second goal. I think he knew that silencers are clearly a hazard when under pressure. That much of a hazard, he passes to the wrong colour. I'm going to give Schmeichel a 7. I really don't think he deserves to be on the beating side, on such a beating with the way he performed.
Right, we're just going to have to wait because here we go. It wasn't.
See,
It wasn't
that
working
way.
for me. It wasn't working for me. Now it is. So we're going to give Schmeichel a 7, which, yeah, I can't argue with you on that at all. I think he deserves it, and I think actually, just looking on the BBC site here, he didn't actually even get up into a 6, but
Yeah, but you lost 4-1, and BBC they tend to grade it on the actual thing, and like they don't.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
rarely do you sit here and keep conceding
Can
4
you
and
even
get the
this
7.
right? I'm sorry here. Right, I'm going to have to say this because let me just take this out. I'm just going to put this. I'm just going to take you off screen for a second, Brad,
Yeah, that's right.
because I just want to say. Oops, hang on a
Hi.
second. Let me do it. Let me do it properly. There we go. I just want to say, Leicester fans, what are you on? Have you been smoking something dodgy tonight? Are you pissed? Leicester fan, right? The BBC app, you can go on and you can vote for each of the Leicester players out of 10, how good they did, how bad they did. Schmeichel is our best player at 5.36. Yep, like Brad said, he let 4 goals in, but he was still our best player. But you've got Perez as our second best player tonight. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, am I on a different planet here to every other single Leicester City fan out there? Was I watching a different game tonight? Have I sort of been transported to Pluto? What is going on? How can you have Perez as the second best player? Brad, come back and help me out. What the fuck? Perez, the second best player? No.
I tell you why, mate. No. Hear us out. Hear us, Leicester fans, out on this one, mate. What you're missing, the trick is we do things very silly and very, very sarcastically as a Leicester fan. You should know this, Chris. You're one of them, right? Why he's second best is because that's the best performance he's ever put in a shirt because he got off the pitch quick. That's the best thing he could have done for us, because how many times have we genuinely, how many times have we seen fans say it themselves, not just us, so no one can come at us just saying it's just us. How many times have Leicester fans, have you seen them on Twitter saying when Perez plays it's like having 10 men? At least today he had the decency to do it.
I'm sorry, I hadn't noticed that, and I'm just looking at it thinking,
but yeah, if someone's actually genuinely voting,
water.
Yeah, I can't turn it into wine. Just because I look like him doesn't mean I can make him all drink.
I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. But sorry, Dorco, this is very true. West Ham fans have all voted for him.
I bet he was their man of the match with Antonio.
Oh, James Perez, second best player. What the fuck? This is only on the Leicester side, though, James. But even then. No, I'm sorry. These scores actually looking here are pathetic. But anyway, so we start with the 7 for Mr. Schmeichel, and I'm gonna go down in the list that they've done it. Then I know I sort of don't miss anybody because I'm not sure whether they have included the subs as well. So I always see Perez. Let's stick with Mr. Perez.
0.
I can give him a 1. I haven't got a 0.
No, that'll do then. That'll do. Purely for the red card. No, it's not. And before people say, "Oh, Perez, of course you're going to give him a 1." But no, he got himself sent off. Anyone who does that and puts your team in jeopardy, you don't get a rating for me. You've completely let your team down. So yeah, 1.
Yes, and Luke agrees with you there. He's got anything else sent off, so I have to see him for 3 matches. Joe is saying, and I can't say these bloody foreign names. I have trouble with Bertrand, don't I?
Maduke. He's English. We'll probably be calling him by his first name because he's English, because I'm going to struggle to pronounce that if we sign him. But yeah, I agree with him. Bring him in. I'm hoping that the way Leicester fans have figured out that maybe we're selling a youth player for 8 million is to pump up the funds to get this deal done, or at least get to talking points.
I don't want to turn into an Arsenal fan where one player is going to absolutely make all the difference to us, because whether he was in or not tonight, we would have still been brown poo stuff. Okay, so Tielemans again, he was pretty awful tonight.
Yeah, but he got a goal. 5.
Five
I think
for the
I think
goal.
we've got to give him the niceness because the 2 times we actually got forward quickly, he was in attacking positions. There's only 2 chances I remember. Harvey Barnes in the box and he lost it, and Madison's scuff pass that led to the goal. So yeah, he gets a 5. He would have been a 4 without the goal, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Everybody's saying Perez, no, definitely. And Craig, good evening, Craig. How are you, sir? Perez created the only chance of the first half. Same old scapegoats. Tillemans was awful first half. I know what you're saying, Craig, but he was.
Craig?
Yeah, okay, you created the only chance. Well, he should have scored it then.
Yeah, he fluffed
If
it.
he was any good, he would have scored it,
Craig, he was more dangerous to the corner flag. He gets a 1 purely for the fact that he made the job
He gets a 1 because I haven't got a naught there. Otherwise, I would have gone and given him a naught, Brad. So he's saved by the fact that I never thought Leicester would have a player that would drop down there. Ricardo Pereira.
3. Looked frustrated with his own performance. Looked disheartened. Looked all right until the game completely changed. I think if I was judging us off the first 30, 35 minutes, they'd all be getting higher ratings, even Perez. But I have to be honest, very lackluster, very underwhelming.
This is what I'm saying. So many players performed so badly. That was the thing. That was I think why we were struggling. Yeah, and you can guess from this how good each of the individual players rated on the BBC. So I'm going down in order. The man that I sort of groan every time I hear that he's in the team, Mr. Daniel Amati.
3.
Oh,
I can't believe I'm saying this. I know he had a torrid end to the game, but so did everybody. But I was more embarrassed by Soyuncu's performance than Amati's. So I think you can see why I'm going to go with Soyuncu's performance tonight.
Yeah. Wolf.
4.
Indeed. 4.
Maybe that's my heart ruling because he doesn't normally let us down. He's one of them that normally would be up there with Casper for a shining light. Maybe, oh no, sorry, stick him as a 4 because I've thought it, but I'm between 4 and 3, but I'll give him a 4.
Give him a 4. Okay. Craig, sorry, mate. Not his shot. He created a chance for Ricardo, who should have.
Oh, that one where he time-netted it. Yeah. Sorry, no, but like I said, Craig, it's not. If I could judge him on his 36 minutes, he would be in the 4 category. And he's not a scapegoat. A scapegoat is something that you only use as an excuse for a defeat or a one-off situation. He's been crap for months, mate. He's never really turned it on for a while. But I do get what you're saying, Craig. I'm not saying his performance until he got sent off was bad. I'm saying that's why Chris is in agreement and put him in the 1 bracket, mate.
Yeah. So we've done Indeedy. Let's have a look. Barnes. Mr. Harvey Barnes.
4 was very quiet, singled out, couldn't get the ball out of his feet. The passing was lack. It was not very good. I think he gets a 4.
It was almost like we were playing in custard.
Yeah, it was. It really was, mate.
I can't remember, and I know we joked about this earlier, but it was the fact that every player was bad, and that's what I can't get my head round. I can remember, David Beckham when we played Greece that time. 10 players plus on the pitch were awful. He was good, but we didn't even have that. We didn't even have one player that took it. Apparently, Stan Kroenke's been on to top and went keep him for Madison. That's how bad it was. So Barnes is there. Luke Thomas.
I don't think he had a particularly bad game.
No, in fairness, he didn't have a good game, but he didn't have bad game, to be honest with you.
To be fair, apart from the inevitable last 10 minutes, which we knew would come in the second, West Ham got that 3rd. he was always going to get beaten for pace. He had to play the full 90 minutes. I'm going to go for a 5, you know.
Yeah,
Didn't do.
I
didn't
would
do
probably
anything,
agree with you there.
but
They did actually say at one point, even though on the TV, that he was looking tired, you know.
yes, yeah.
But David, maybe a 5 for Barnes. He didn't do much, but he got into the penalty somewhat.
Well, yeah, let's be fair. These ratings that anyone gives, A, it's my personal opinion that Chris is asking for, and B, 4, 5, 6, it's the same sort of bracket. If it's a good performance, I guess 6 for not doing a lot. You know, it's good. Then each your own.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see people commenting what they think their performances were, whether they agree or
This
not.
is it. No, I mean, this, and to be honest with you, if you go onto the website, www.leicestertillidie.com/last match, our match reporter, Brian Langston, he'll be doing his own version of this. So we've never done this live before. So this is just to say a bit of, I would like to say a bit of fun, but I don't know whether this is fun or not.
Start after the Wolves game, mate.
Yeah. The Arsenal number 10, James Maddison, how much would you give him?
You know what? I was going to be harsh, but I gave Tillemans a high rating because of his goal, and Maddison got an assist, so he gets a 3.
A 3.
Because I didn't hear him.
I was trying to drop him in the 5 then.
no, mate. Honestly, I didn't really see him get on the ball in the sense that I didn't see him on the ball where I expected him to be on the ball, which was in their final third. Maddison's name very rarely came a cropper, and when it did, it was he'd already passed it on, and he was trying to catch up to where he needed to be.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, 3.
Right. Before we come to a certain defender, well, I'm going to save till the end. We're going to have a look at the subs. Daka
got up to pace with Vardy when he put that ball across. Considering I'm surprised he hasn't got more football for us. Got to give him a 4.
I mean, subs never usually score highly unless they come on very early or for a whole half, you know. But he seemed to do more than Vardy did, which was we haven't mentioned Mr. Vardy, have we? Actually,
no. You know what though? I'm gonna give a bit of defence to Vardy, and I know people might say, "Oh, he's the golden child of Leicester." Of course you are, especially some of the neutrals in there. But Vardy has always had people say that if you don't give Vardy the supply of the ball, you know, you're not going to see Vardy at his best. But that bloke gets in the box of corners, he comes back at the halfway line, and I know his heavy touch was the reason they broke away and scored. But at 34, when you've got a prolific goal scoring squad, I feel a bit uncomfortable seeing him having to come back and get the ball and then try and make a 30-yard lung busting run. He put in that ball that had Daka been a bit quicker, maybe been on the pitch at half time and been up to pace for the game, he might have got on the end of it. It would have probably been a decent ball in. I'm going to say, if we're doing Vardy's rating now, I'm actually going to put him in a 5.
Yeah, and to be fair, you've also got to say a striker is only good as the service he gets,
exactly,
and the goalkeeper is only as good as the players in front of him. You know?
And when you're only playing in a 1, you're kind of restricted to what you can do and how far you can go. When we went with 2, you could see a bit more about us.
Yes,
in that sense.
Yeah. So we're now going to look at Mr. Samari.
Fairly steady. I don't think he did much wrong. 5, 4.
5. Okay.
Anywhere in between now, I'm happy with. I think 4 because he's a sub. At the end of the day, he didn't get long to come on to, but he did his job well. He didn't do anything to warrant a half mark.
He only got 8 minutes, didn't he, at the end of the day?
And I'm going to do the same with Kalichi and Iacho to save the job. I think the sub deserved a fair meeting because it wasn't that they came on in circumstances that wasn't through their fault. You know what I mean? You know, so I could be fair to the subs and give them all a 4.
Give them all a 4. Right. The moment that I have been dreading, and let me go out and let you have the stage. So with our Turkish delight.
Well, I don't like Turkish delights, and I don't like them after that performance. I'll be banning anyone from eating them. They can't come near with them because you know what? People like to say that maybe we kind of Leicester fans always have a vendetta to pick one person out per season and he's the only person that ever gets the blame for a bad result. It's never the case. I think I've always been very well justified with my opinions on Leicester players. You know me, Chris. I always like to try and back my words up by pointing out what they've done throughout the games. Soyuncu's got away with it, and I've said it before last season, and I think a lot of Leicester fans noticed it when Evans was injured, that last season and the season before. Soyuncu doesn't know how to cope when he's backed into a corner. We saw that with his pass to Antonio. He doesn't look comfortable without a leader. I honestly think he needs to have a leadership skill put into him, because he doesn't seem to have the confidence in his ability to lead at the back, which is why I said I don't rate that. This is why I'm going to rate Amati better than him, because I don't think Amati has ever been a leader. He's never possessed the qualities to be a leader, and he's always been there to go, I need you to tell me, you should be telling me what to do, because I need to be able to trust you, and we need to work together. And unfortunately, for all the praise and the songs that we give Soyuncu, and he's still a fan favourite, still, I'm not suddenly turncoating on him or anything, but this is like the 7th or 8th time now where he hasn't had someone like Evans or someone like that alongside him, and I got an error in him. And because he stayed on the pitch for 90 minutes, he gets a 2.
Oh, right, okay.
And I'm not being harsh. I just want to single out how damaging going down to 10 men is. Because look at these ratings, minus Casper, and look where I've rated the player that got sent off. If he'd have stayed on, I probably would have had Soyuncu and Perez on the same level of a 2.
I'm going to say if he'd stayed on, he'd have only got a 2. But...
He would have.
I think those ratings are pretty fair. I mean, David says here the Leicester Mercury only gave all 5 to all the players. I don't know where you got the 5s from, to be honest with you.
No, I think players rightly get 3s and 4s because they did rightly let us down. More noticeable, and unfortunately, whether they like it or not, the expectation helps or hinders your decision of giving them ratings. Like I said, maybe there's a few, in my opinion, I feel I've probably been nicer to them because I'm more forgiving on the fact that it's very rare indeed he has a bad game. It's very rare we don't see something attacking from Harvey Barnes and Vardy. Maybe that is the case. But also the weight of expectations on some of these players, they should never, ever, should we be sat here, mate, doing what we've just done and going, Ndidi 4, Harvey Barnes 4. We should not be giving these players rating. They should be getting a 5. That should be 5 before they've kicked a ball.
Yeah, no, you're quite right. You're quite right. And good evening to Words and Pictures. Saw me on Jake and the West Ham Network. You're a top bloke. Thank you very much. Very kind of you to say. And well done to, if you saw me on there, I'm presuming, but you shouldn't presume, that you might be a West Ham fan. If you are, well done for tonight. I can't say anything other than you were brilliant. You're top of the table now. I know it's only 2 games, but you deserved on that performance. You deserve. We were saying last week, 4-2 against Newcastle, and we were all going like, yeah, okay, but it was Newcastle. But mate, come on, West Ham.
Now it's Leicester that you've just beat comprehensively. So yeah, to all West Ham fans, all right, now I want to add to that with Chris. Very well done. I don't like. We try and do these fair, don't we? And as much as nobody likes praising the opposition. You say it quite commonly a lot on here, Chris. We don't like praising the opposition, but we are a team on here that do like to top our hats on a performance where West Ham just did beat what was in front of them and beat it very well.
You've got to sometimes, you have to sometimes, football, if you look, it's not played on paper. So when you look at your squad down on paper, that's not how it's played. And sometimes you have to take your hat off and go, you know what? They deserve that. And as soon as the game finished, Jake actually messaged me, the West Ham guy, on his channel, and he said, "Can't wait for 6 o'clock tomorrow." Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks, Jake. And I went to him. You know what? You deserved it. We were shit. You totally deserved it, and you just got to sometimes go, that was shit. I mean, it won't be the last shit performance we do this season.
It's just not many of them.
But maybe we just got it out the system early. And maybe, let's be honest with you, FA Cup, Community Shield, we beat the Europa League champions, we've won our first game. Maybe this won't actually do us any harm, and go, remember, you can't just go out and walk on that pitch and win a game.
Definitely. And to go back to Terry's comment that he made, saying that you'd give Casper a 6. I've just got Casper's bad kicking as default setting for him, mate. So I don't really judge his distribution. It's been awful for so long. I just see it as default with Schmeichel.
Yes. Luke says here, don't want to sound as though I'm criticising Rodgers, but he has a inferiority complex against some managers. Is Moyes one of I don't know. I wouldn't have thought he would have had an inferiority complex. I mean, let's not forget. Okay, I mean, West Ham beat us twice last year. The first game was a bit like this. They just blew us out the water. The second game at their place, we were Madison-less, which probably wouldn't have made any difference tonight. But of course, there was the COVID.
But they blew us out the water. Yeah, but they blew us out the water. Then they were 3-0 and cruising. We had to come back with Iniacho. I think he got both goals in that game.
He got both goals towards the end, yeah. Had we played another 10 minutes, I think we would have probably got a draw out of that. But the season before that, we actually beat them, did the double over them.
Yeah.
So and that was only so it was 2020, 21. So it was 1920, I think, the season 1920. We actually did the double over West Ham. So Craig says there, West Ham play the way most fans would like the team to play.
A bit more forward, a bit quicker.
And let's be honest with you, I can tell you, I was bantering with the West Ham fans. I said, I'm surprised that your players can hear the cheers from the stands, because it's like a day trip from the stands to the pitch at the London Stadium.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I think that made one hell of a difference to them tonight. Those fans were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, West Ham's always been a great atmosphere for a side, whether they're winning or losing. In a sense, you know what mood the West Ham fans are in. You know what the fans think of your performance, and obviously that can backfire sometimes. I'd have hesitant to have hated to have seen if that performance had been shown at the King Power. And I don't think it was. See, the thing is, as well, this game is all fans, butts and coconuts, isn't it, mate? And unfortunately, like I said, quite literally, everything that could have gone wrong tonight went wrong. Could he have made the subs earlier? Well, he didn't. When he chose to make the subs, it kicked us in the teeth. It was just Brendan Rodgers and the team tonight. I probably thankful they've got more than zeros for a rating, to be honest with you, because it's just one of them games. It's just been one of them games. I just hope
we have seen this sort of performance before from Leicester.
Yes, if we can have no more, I'd be happy this season. It'd be an improvement for me.
I will say 3 words. Newcastle United at home. I think we played at home, didn't we, towards the end of the season?
Yes, 4 words.
Yeah. Sod off. I don't like that number at the moment tonight, mate.
No. I'll tell you what, I should have said that was 4 words. You were 1 over and it got the whole score in then. Okay, there you
go. But yeah, so that we collapsed then. That isn't a performance that Leicester have always got in them. And 2 games in, let's not write the seasons off. Terry's off to bed. Must be on a promise, Terry. Enjoy it, mate. Off to bed to dream we won 4-1 tonight. Thanks for coming on, Terry, mate. Cheers. Joe says we need to sign Madukeli. Somebody tell me his first name. Somebody tell me his first name, please.
No, make him struggle.
Sussex Hotspur. Watch the game. The red card changed the game. Antonio and Benama. Wow, it's still early in the season. You boys will be fine. We will be. It will be. But like I say, these shows are here, and we look at the game that's just gone. Colin, I hope so. I really hope so. We're going to be up there. I honestly think we're going to be up there. Like I say, the Wolves game, let's be honest with you, the Wolves game is the sort of game you say, if we get into the Champions League places by a point at the end of the season, we'll go like, that Wolves game was the one that got us there because we got the 3 points when maybe we didn't. I say these games will happen. You know, last season you had Liverpool losing to Aston Villa, was it 7-2 or something? You know, you'd got Newcastle beating us. You got these things happen. It was, and as one of those days when everybody decided we're not going to turn up tonight, and well, it happens. Anybody that's new to supporting Leicester has only supported us sort of since 15-16. Get used to it. This is what supporting Leicester is like. Brad, mate, I don't know if it's too late for you to have a drink, but go and try and wipe this out your memory.
I will do, mate. I've got Magic Jesus power. There you are. What happened? Who did we play? What was the score? See, it happened.
We beat Man City 5-0.
Oh, I knew that, mate. Yeah, I saw it coming.
And thanks to everybody that was in the chat. Brad, we'll talk in a second afterwards, but thanks for joining us, mate. And I'll see you Wednesday night. Yes, you will. Cheers, bud. See you in a bit. Thanks to Brad, as always, the voice of reason. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Our very own Jesus there, Brad. Tomorrow night. No. Tomorrow night, I am doing the opposition view, although I did say that if they beat us that I would block them all, but I'm doing the opposition view show, 6 o'clock, a little bit earlier than normal, because that's when the guy can do it for me. So 6 o'clock on my channel. We're talking to Jake, a West Ham fan, about the game. I'm sure he's going to be happy. Thanks a lot to Craig there. Always tough when the bad result is still raw. It so is. And cheers, Luke, as well. So I'm doing that at 6 o'clock. So be there, we'll be square. And then almost straight after, I'm going on to a West Ham channel to talk about the loss as well. And I must be like, it's like self-harm, isn't it? Once you start, you can't stop. David, good night as well. James, cheers to myself and Brad. Big up you lads. Take care as well. And then on Wednesday, what we got on Wednesday? Well, we might be able to find out about any possible new signings. I'm speaking to Talk Sports, Jeff Thomas, who's he's a big Leicester fan. For those of you of a certain age, like myself, you will of course know Jeff Peters, not Jeff Thomas. Jeff Thomas was the Crystal Palace defender. Jeff Peters, who used to actually be the Leicester City, he used to be the Ian Springer of his day on BBC Radio Leicester. So that is going to be 7 o'clock on Wednesday. The Jeff Peters from Talk Sport, the second Talk Sport DJ will have had on. So it'd be great to speak to him, especially with him being a Leicester fan. He can probably reassure me we're going to have a good season. And then on Wednesday at 9:30, same night, it's going to be the prediction show with Brad, me, and a special guest who's going to be an Arsenal fan. So looking forward to that on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, guys. Wasn't the result we wanted. Certainly wasn't the performance we wanted. But Saturday, it's Norwich. We go again. Come on, you foxes.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
episode has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.